Hey, what's up guys? It is the Coaster Battleman here, bringing you my MAXX Force review, and oh my gosh guys, this ride is phenomenal. MAXX Force, I don't know what to say here. It's phenomenal ride, and it was the perfect ride for this park. So yeah, let's get into some more in-depth detail of MAXX Force and my overall thoughts on it and the rides I got on it. And I'm going to be riding this quite a lot throughout the rest of the season at Six Flags for 2019. And I'm really excited to ride this even more in the future. And first of all, this ride is just phenomenal. It has the insane 0 to 78 mile per hour launch in under 2 seconds, 1.8 to be exact. And you have 5 inversions packed into a 20-second ride time from the launch to the brake run. So overall, MAXX Force, despite the low ride time, it really, and I mean really, packs in so much into its short layout. You have 2 sets of double inversions, as well as a 60 mile per hour 0G roll. All those inversions are phenomenal, and if you don't get stapled, you will get some phenomenal hang time or air time on it, because the restraints are lap bars. That's another thing about this ride I love, the trains and the restraints. The trains on MAXX Force, they only hold 16 people, and yeah, they're kind of low capacity, but here's the good thing about them. They look like drag racers, and the restraints are just phenomenal on MAXX Force. The seats are comfortable, nevertheless, but the restraints seriously make this ride so much better than if it had over-the-shoulder restraints. It is kind of similar to it like an RMC coaster where you have the leg restraints and the lap bar, but this lap bar is not as big or bulky as Goliath's restraints, and they are much more comfortable, and if you don't get stapled, you will get some phenomenal airtime on some of these inversions. And yeah, let's go over the layout next. So MAXX Force has a pretty awesome layout. Let's start with the launch, 0 to 78 miles per hour in 1.8 seconds. It takes a while before the launch starts, and kind of a fun fact, this is a compressed air launch coaster. This ride was built by S&S. They have built air launch coasters in the past, and this is the modern one. So this is a pretty cool revival to that type of model, and MAXX Force is really, really unique. It has the insane 1.8 second launch, and I mean, if you are like the first rider of the day or one of the first, it's going to be intense, but not as intense as you'd probably want it to be. Because I've ridden this twice as one of the first riders of the day, and twice is in like the middle of the day. And overall, I really enjoyed riding it during the middle of the day because it has way more G-force, way more intensity, and the trains are more warmed up, and they provide way more intensity in that time frame. But nevertheless, the launch, it doesn't matter what time you're riding it, the launch is going to be super fun no matter what. And next, let's talk about the first double inversion, the 60 mile per hour inversion, 0G roll, and the final double inversion that leads to the brake run. So you have, after the launch, you have a little camelback hill that's not really that big at all. You kind of notice it, but it doesn't really mess up the ride at all. It's just kind of there. It doesn't really provide much airtime because you're flying through it. And then you go up a spike all the way up to this inversion. And then after that, you go into another inversion. And then after that, you land on this drop. And if the restraints aren't stapled, as well as riding it in like the middle of the day or at night or something, you will get some insane airtime on that, and it's very intense too. I really recommend to ride this thing later in the day, even though the line is longer. It's still it's much better, especially if the ride like breaks down or something, they will give you a fast pass to ride like whatever ride you want. Try and get on MAXX Force with that thing. That'd be really cool if that happened. That's what happened to me. Like the past 2 days, I went to Great America, and the first, like my second ride on MAXX Force, it was the middle of the day. The ride broke down, and we were on the brake run. Our train was the train that was broken down. Like, there was something going on with the brake run. I don't know what it was. Something weird. So the guy had to, like, call up the mechanical people or whatever, and they had to fix it. And then we went to the station finally. And, I mean, that was pretty cool, but we were baking in the sun. But the good news, we got that free fast flash pass to get back on MAXX Force. And the next day when I rode it, my 4th time I rode it, I got that thing for the ride. And even though I rode it in like row 4, I got an insane ride on it. And it was my second best ride I've ever gotten on it. The ride where it broke down while I was on the brake run, that was my best ride on it. I was in row 6, and I thought like it wouldn't be as insane as back row, but or actually, my my final ride on it was back row, or second to last row, yeah. But that second ride I got on it was row 6. That thing was my best ride on it. I had some insane G-forces on that ride. The airtime was phenomenal. Like, they didn't staple me at all. The airtime was just relentless on those inversions because I wasn't stapled. But if you are stapled, you aren't really going to get any airtime on this, which kind of hurts it a little bit. But it's still phenomenal. The inversions are fantastic. They're smooth. Like, this whole ride is just glossy smooth because it's brand new. And it's just so much fun. Really, really good ride from start to finish. And my main top complaints with this ride is if you get stapled, you won't get as much airtime, which isn't that big of a complaint because the ride's still phenomenal. And the other one is that, well, I mean, the ride is just short. Like, it's only 20 seconds, and this is what you expect from Six Flags Great America. It seems like every new coaster they've gotten in recent years, ever since, like, 2012, or even a little different in 2010, they're all short rides. Like, X-Flight's shorter than other wing coasters like Gatekeeper and Wild Eagle, and Goliath's way shorter than most of the RMCs. The Joker is a 40 free fly from SNS, and that's a short ride because it's cloned all over the place. And now MAXX Force, so a lot of short rides at Great America. It's the short ride capital of the world. I'm just joking, but, well, I'm going to give it, well, I mean, if you don't get any airtime on it, I'd probably say I'd give it a 9 out of 10. The ride is still phenomenal. You'll get the insane launch, which is awesome. That launch is never going to get old. The insane acceleration on it is just so powerful and intense. And it's the first time I rode it, it was just so scary waiting for that launch. And it came, and wow, that was fun. And ever since I've ridden it, I know when that launch is coming. You go a little bit forwards, a little bit backwards, a little bit forwards, backwards, forwards a few times. And then you finally shoot out. You hear that big explosion sound, which is the compressed air, and you launch right up that spike. It's really cool. And overall, if you get some insane airtime on this ride, like, I'd give this thing a 9.5 out of 10. If you get some crazy airtime like that, only half point off is the ride time. And that's what is kind of a flop with Goliath, is the ride time. That's why I'd give it a 9 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10. Raging Bull, I'd give it 9 out of 10 because even though the ride's long, there's not enough airtime. And I'd probably give it a 9.5 maybe, because I've gotten some really, really good rides on that recently over Goliath. So I could rank Raging Bull higher than it. But overall, MAXX Force, it's phenomenal. I strongly recommend to check it out. It's one of the best roller coasters on the planet. One of the best launch coasters ever. It's not as good, in my opinion, as Maverick, but I did prefer it over Top Thrill Dragster. And is it better than V2? Yes. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, stay tuned for more videos. And just a final note, my top 9 roller coasters at Six Flags St. Louis video for 2019 will also be coming very soon, as well as my ultimate Six Flags Great America list for the roller coasters, which includes MAXX Force.